Hello and welcome back for another video. So as you would have seen in the thumbnail, we are painting the Airlift manifold. So a quick history: a couple of weeks ago when I was doing the boot panels, the trim panels for underneath the boot, I was just looking at it and the tank was white and it was this kind of big gaudy sort of white thing in the boot and nothing else really kind of tied together with the theme. So then I got one of these headaches that comes along with pictures. I think some people call it an idea. To paint the manifold. So that's what we're going to do today. So I thought about it for a couple of days and I looked online to see had anyone else ever done it or anything like that, and I couldn't see anyone that done it. That I haven't even seen anyone that paint matched one, let alone anything else. So what I'm going to do is paint it, colour match it to the car, and I'm going to pinstripe it. Now I've never done pinstriping or anything like that before. I've been doing a little bit of practicing, but I think what's going to happen is I'll end up doing it with paint markers instead of, because I couldn't find paint brushes or pinstripe brushes locally to me anyway. But I've got some black paint, I've got some gold paint, and I've got the white paint. So we're going to see what happens. So first thing is to pull the manifold out of the car, which I've done right here. And now I sent Airlift a message on Instagram, and I just said, before I go ahead and do this, if I take my manifold out of the car and paint it, I said, as long as I mask up everything properly, and I don't cut the seal underneath, because I don't know if you might know this, but there is a seal underneath that if that's tampered with and you send it back to them, then it voids your warranty. And that's fine, that's understandable. So I messaged them and said, as long as I mask off everything, the ports and all that kind of stuff, if I paint it, will it void my warranty? And a day or two later they came back. They didn't say yes, but they didn't say no. They said, well, there's a lot of small ports in that if paint gets in it and that causes an issue down the line, then that will void your warranty, which is fine, that's understandable. Now I think as long as I mask everything off right, I'll show you the things that need to be masked. As long as I mask everything off correctly, I really don't see me having any issues. I really don't. So I guess we'll figure it out together. So what I need to do next is pull off my plaque. I will obviously need to mask that off. I will need to mask off all of these individually. Now, I think the little ports they were talking about, I don't know if air goes in or out of any of these. I don't see how they would. I don't know if that's like a little access thing that if you push a tool in, it helps pop the cartridge of the PTC fitting out. I have no idea, but we're not going to be too worried. I'm just going to cut a little square over each one individually. I think it'll be fine. I'm going to mask off these little ports here. Same one on the other side. I'm going to paint these screws, leave them turn white. Now I'll mask off the bottom of it and I'll leave it, so it doesn't void my warranty or anything like that, or just so it looks a bit tidier as well. And I'm going to leave the bolts for the plate black, so at least we'll have some kind of contrast through the whole thing. So that plate is ready to come off. I took the bolts out yesterday, so all we got to do now is start masking all the PTC ports and the plug. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've got a couple of different tapes. I've got a real nice 3M tape here that I was able to get locally, so I think that being the better quality, or usually that you hear about being better quality, that's what we're going to go with. So I don't want to have, say, like when the plug for this clips in, I don't want you to see any black around it, so we're going to just put a very, very small little bit of mask in there. We'll tuck that in there so you don't get it in any of the pins or anything. That should be okay. Now the manifold sits in the car that way, so you're not going to see back here anyway, so realistically I wouldn't even have to mask any of this. I could just not paint back there, but we'll do it anyway. Where I was talking about pinstriping is a section there and this bottom section here. Now realistically when it's in the car you're probably not going to see that either, but I think I'm going to do it just for fun anyway, I guess. So we'll continue masking off these little ports at the side, which are a bit difficult to get at, because again I want to try and do this as cleanly and tidily as I can without kind of bunching it up and making a whole big mess out of things. But I think we're going to be okay. Let's clear that up, or tear that up. I think we're okay there. Now this bottom part is steel. This bottom part, I don't know if it's actually steel or aluminium, probably aluminium, I don't know. Top part is plastic, so I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do prep wise, if that makes sense. in regards to sanding them or anything like that, so, or primer or anything like that. I don't really want to go to that extreme, but if I have to, I will. Just, I don't want to be sanding something and potentially get, now I know I'm masking everything, like, but I don't want to potentially get dust on anything. That bit of tape is fucked, so we'll get another bit. I'll try and do this way, it might be a tad easier, but yeah, if I have to do a bit of extra prep, then so be it. I don't think it'll be terribly difficult. Yeah, that's much better there now. Okay, so we've got that one all sealed up. It's fine. Even though I know that's just a threaded fitting now, don't get me wrong, it's literally just a threaded port and a threaded port there. Maybe, I don't know why it's there, maybe it's for testing or something like that, I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do now, with those three wrapped up, I'm going to stick on some time lapse and we'll do all of these, because otherwise we'll be here all day talking. And there we go, all masked up, nice and masked up along the bottom. A little untidy around the edge, but I'm not too concerned. Quite difficult to mask those, like to get in between each of those. There's literally only like a couple of million between each one, but again, as I said, the manifold, you will see it that way in the car. So even if it's a little untidy back here, like for example, I didn't fully say, like you can see the shape of where the hole is there, I didn't fully like trim all around those. Oh, I'll trim that one, that's a bit too big, and maybe that one there, but the rest of it is okay. The two little guys at the side are all masked up, so I think I'm going to trim then. And then as I was doing it, I think what I'll do, I have a fairly soft what do I call them, like scotch pad there. I'll have a look at that. If not, I might just give it a rub with like maybe 1000 grit or something like that, and see, or 800, something like that. I don't think I'm going to prime it, because I don't want to be messing with it too much. I don't know why I'm kind of, I was going to say I don't know why I'm nervous. Well, I guess I'm nervous to paint it because it's like an almost €1,000 piece of equipment that I could so easily fuck up, just because I can't get ideas out of my head. But yeah, so I'm going to give it a little scuff, and I guess just kind of send it and see what happens, I suppose. Okay, I found my little scotch pad. It's the grey one out of the pack that I had. It's the softest of the three. It's just a cheapy Halfords one. It's labelled as fine, so I don't know, who knows. So like I said, you're only really going to see it from that angle. So I'm going to scuff, say, you know, as much as I can in here. Across, well, there's no need to do in there because obviously the panel will cover it. The front and kind of the sides here. I'm not too bothered about over here. Definitely not bothered about over here. I'm not going to scuff any of that. I'm just going to leave it alone. If the paint peels off, you'll never see it. If it peels off to a point where it looks bad, well, I suppose I could scuff up as far as there maybe, because if it's, yeah, I don't know, we'll worry about that in a minute anyway. So let's put that up on top of there, just to give us a bit of stand. Now I just cut a little square off this, so I guess we'll just kind of give it a scuff. And yeah, I don't know if it'll be enough, or I don't know what like grade this is supposed to be, although you can definitely see it scuffing the plastic there now. That's fine. And I guess the good thing about doing this too is that if it looks shite, I could just paint it black again. You know, it's not going to be too big of an issue. But I think it will be super cool white. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. So we'll keep going with this. We'll have a chat again, will we? I enjoyed our chat the last day, so why don't you let me know there now in the comments. Let's see. My birthday was a couple of weeks ago, so why don't you tell me when your birthday was? Maybe some of us is birthday buddies, you never know. It could be. Mine was in January, so let me know when yours is, just for fun. Do you have like cars and coffees and shit like that in your local area that you go to? Are they any good? There's one here locally. It's called Galway Auto Meet. I haven't really gone. It's a bit kind of, I don't know, I've seen the photos and stuff from online, and it's not really the kind of stuff that I'm super interested in, but a couple of American cars up there, a lot of Japanese stuff, but mostly the European stuff. And to put it politely, I'm not a fan of Volkswagens and shit like that with black smoke pouring out of them, but you know, each to their own. But if there's cars and coffees or stuff like that where you're from, let me know. What kind of stuff do you see at them? You know, are they busy? Big events? You know, let me know. And if you are going to any big shows or anything this year, let me know. I was kind of debating, there's a really big show. I've never been to it, but I know a bunch of people that have. In Northern Ireland, I think in like a month's time, I think start of April or something, called Dubshed. I think it originally started in England and then they had them in Northern Ireland. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Something to that effect. That is on in a couple of weeks. I was going to try and enter this into it, but just timing now and getting all of this kind of stuff done. Not that this is priority by any means, like, but I would like to have it done. See, it's, what are we now, middle of February now, and I would like to have all the kind of the big stuff, the big jobs done, we call it, on this car before I start to bring it out on the regular, because the weather is getting decent, not too bad. Like, it's still a bit cold here and there, but today, for example, is, what's it like, yeah, it's pretty sunny, it's not bad. Today was the first day I did the school run and didn't need a hoodie, so that's usually a good sign. But yeah, so the decent weather is starting to come around again, and I'll drive this car, I won't necessarily say every day, but like, I do the school run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then so I'll probably cruise it to work on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. Go for a couple of spins on Sunday or any of those other kind of events that might be on. There is another one in a place, I was going to say local, it's not super local, but it's not local, a place called Ballina in County Mayo, which is the guts of an hour or so for me. That's on at the end of this month. I need to look into the, like, into where it's on and the time and stuff like that, but usually they're like 11 until 1 or 2, I mean 12 until 2 or something like that. So, but yeah, let me know that kind of stuff if there's events like that where you're from, and if they're any good. Right, the plastic is definitely about as scuffed as it needs to be. This doesn't really seem to be making any mark on the aluminium side at the bottom, so I might need to get one of the rougher ones. I might give it a rub at the back, and if that doesn't do it, I might get a bit of sandpaper. But again, I don't want to be going too fucking loco with it, you know, and potentially ruin something, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, okay, I'm going to carry on with this, and I'll come back to you when we're ready to rock. Okay guys, it looks pretty decent. I got the, I'll show you what I was talking about with the scotch pads that I have. I just bought a pack of them. If you're local, like in England, Ireland, you're more than familiar with Halfords. I just got that 3-pack a while ago, so the colours are wrong, but you'll get the idea. The grey was the fine one, that's what I used for the plastic. I just cut a square of it rather than using the big sheet. That's what's scuffed all around here, done a perfect nice job of it. And then the green was the more coarse of the three for the bottom, and you can see it, give it a nice, it just needs a little bit of a, like a key on it, just for something for the paint to bite into. Now I'm not sure whether to just paint it or prime it and then paint it. I probably should prime it, because the primer will stick to everything, because it's got the bite in it, and then the paint will stick to the primer, if that makes sense. So what I think I'll do, just to kind of help it along a little bit, I might get my heat gun, just warm it up a little bit, because it's not cold today, but it's not super duper warm either. So I better set up my painting table first, actually. Yeah, we'll figure it out anyway. Wish me luck. So I decided to primer it, and it looks crazy. Like, it looks really good. That's 2 coats of primer. Or 3 coats of primer. It looks crazy. It looks like some kind of weird, like, it looks like a rendering inside of SolidWorks or something like that, or like a 3D printed version of a Manifold or something. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, excuse me, I was doing it, and like I said, a bit nervous. I mean, I am still nervous. I'll always think, God, if I have an issue now, was it because that I painted it? But if it is, it is. Things can always be repaired or replaced, you know. So next coat is, or next step, a couple of coats of white, and I'll come back to you then when it's painted white. I think it's going to look super cool, and it's giving me another idea. I think while I'm at it, I might paint the housing for the little round housing for a compressor filter as well, so that'll be cool. It'll all kind of match together. My goodness. So as you've seen there, I have a couple of coats of white. Doesn't quite show it in the edit, but I have about an hour or 2 hours in between each coat. I had the primer and then the 2 coats of white. I might do a third one, but I don't think we're going to need it. So let's have a look. You can tell me what you think. I think it looks super cool. I'm going to peel the masking off in a minute. Well, I'll decide about a third coat first, but I'll peel the masking off after that if it needs it. Then great, but I don't think we will. I think it looks so cool just because it's different. You know, that's the name of the game, I guess, just so it's something different than all the rest. So as I said, I've just left those screws in it, and then with the plate and the other screws will be black, or the plate will be gold and the screws will be black, obviously. So I'm going to leave that overnight, let the whole lot of that cure. Actually, yeah, I'll peel it in the morning and I'll come back to you then. But so far, I think it looks really cool. Next day, welcome to work. This is where I work. It's my shop. So I figured I'll bring the manifold in to work with me today because I had a free couple of hours in the afternoon. So let me show you how it turned out after curing for the night. Super duper white, that's for sure. Now, I'm definitely going to go back in with a brush and just go over these. I did some research last night. That's like a little pressure relief, for want of a better word. So if something shits itself inside, air will purge through those little holes. But either way, I'm going to come back with a brush and just touch up each of those. Won't be too big of an issue. I'm going to try my best to scrape off that little bit of overspray there. Same over here, but again, like I said, you'll see the manifold from the other angle, so it's not really going to be an issue. So plan for now is to make an attempt at the pinstriping, like I said. So I got different pins. Like I've decided I'm just doing it with the paint markers. So I ended up going to the art shop up the street and I got these two guys. I had gotten other ones that were bigger sizes that you can see. Can you kind of make, yeah, 1 to 2 mil there, and a round tip, and that is 0.8 mil if I remember right. Yeah, 0.8 mil. I had gotten other ones to try, but they were 2 to 4 mil, depending on like how much pressure you put on it, of course, and it was just too wide. So what I'll do now is I have a couple of designs ready to go. I agonized over these. I just kind of decided simple is more. So got a couple of designs I'm going to show you how we lay it out and then make a start on it. One other thing, I did decide to go ahead and paint the compressor filter housing as well, and I've marked the back of it a top and bottom because I have a design to go on that as well. So let me get these few things set up and I'll show you the designs. Okay, the first design is that shape. Ignore this, it's just extra splatter. It's not really meant to be anything, just like a pinstripe like you'd see on like an old hot rod or something. So it will be like that. Is kind of difficult to hold it in the right place with one hand, but it'll be in black, then with a little gold shadow under it there, and then on the top section again it'll be something like this. So I think it'll be pretty sweet. I had another one that I was practicing. It's another version of that one which I had there, so I might do something like that, say on the side there, maybe, you know, like, say, how would I fit it, you know, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to redraw and see and figure out the size. So I'm going to set this up and wish me luck again. that was fun. Stressful, but fun. So let's have a proper look into the compressor filter housing. It's a nice little, relatively simple design. You can see the little gold shadow under it. And then, as I said, I ended up doing the side of the manifold there and that little patch up there. Nice little design up there. I didn't realise till after I was looking back at this footage that actually looks like a W. It wasn't supposed to, but you know, it doesn't matter. I think it came out really, really nice. So different. I'm very pleased. Yeah, pretty cool. Fun, a little bit stressful, but a lot of fun for sure. So next step, bring them home, stick them back in the car, and make sure it all still works. So it's all back in and working. You can hear the compressor building up pressure. And it looks really cool. So overall, yeah, I'm pleased with how it turned out. It's definitely something different, like I said, but that's kind of been the aim of almost everything with this car, to be honest. It could have been, the pinstriping could have been a little bit tidier, to be totally honest. The other pens that I had that were a bit thinner probably would have been a bit better, to tell you the truth, but it's fine as it is. I am very, very pleased with it, don't get me wrong. So it's all back together, working fine. I've lifted the car up and down a bunch of times. There's no leaks or anything like that, so I'm very pleased with how it looks. So yeah, that's it. Just an extra little bit of spice for the back of the car. It looks pretty cool for the boot build and that. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Peace.